Welcome to Living in Purpose on Purpose. I'm your host, Jaime Hansell, and welcome to my podcast. Welcome back to Living in Purpose on Purpose podcast. Of course, I'm your favorite podcast host, Jaime Hansell, and welcome back. Now, if you're listening to us via podcast audio, wherever you're getting your podcast from, make sure you head on over to YouTube. Follow us and subscribe to us at Living in Purpose on Purpose podcast. If you're already here on YouTube, welcome back for another episode. Still go on over to wherever you get your podcast and like and follow us there too. Now, we do have an Instagram and a Facebook and now a TikTok. That's a little bit new for us, but that is at Living in Purpose Pod. And on Instagram and Facebook, we are found at Living in Purpose on Purpose podcast. Now, without further ado, make sure you go ahead and do those things after the episode. But today, as you can see by the title, we're just talking about minding the business that pays you. So instead of talking about minding your business, of course, we want to talk today about understanding what it means to be mindful or understanding mindfulness. Now, a lot of you guys may be like, what do you mean? Because we never really talk about mindfulness. I can't recall where I actually purposely read something speaking about mindfulness and what that really means. So that's why I thought to shed light on it today, because I see a lot of things about minding our business online and things like that. But sometimes we get to talk about minding our very own business and understanding what that means for us, to ourselves, not just for somebody else. So in order to understand mindfulness, you have to make sure you're practicing being present in that moment. Practice being in that moment without judgment. You're taking it for what it is and you're going through with that. That's exactly what we're going to do. So you may say, well, Jamie, what are the benefits of understanding mindfulness? Because you're saying how it's such a great thing, but what's the point? What's the point? And I'm glad you asked, because I have a few points that's going to tell you exactly why it's important to understand mindfulness, understand what that means. The first point is cultivating clarity and focus. When you're able to understand mindfulness, it just makes everything has such a deeper meaning, but you're also just being able to shed a lot more light on the things. So it's very clear to you and you're able to focus in on whatever it is. Right here, we're living in our purpose on purpose. So if we're talking about understanding mindfulness right here where we are, it's going to give us clarity about our purpose. It's going to help us focus on our purpose and actually focus on living in our purpose on purpose. It's essential for gaining a deeper understanding for yourself and your purpose. When you cultivate clarity and focus, it quiets the noise of your daily life, because we all know that your daily life sometimes is very loud and everything is jumbled, can't really understand everything is piling on top of each other. You may have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things you haven't done, a lot of things you did do, you have a lot of appointments, whatever, you had to work a lot of shifts, whatever the case may be. It is very loud and you're not able to really sit there and have clarity about certain situations. You can't really focus on anything. But when you cultivate this clarity and focus, you're able to quiet that noise of the daily life. You're able to connect with your inner wisdom to show you what you should be doing, how you should be doing those things, when you should be doing those things. A lot of times when we're just on the go, or we're not present in that moment, we're not understanding how to be mindful in those moments. So we're not cultivating clarity and focus. And everything is kind of blurry and it's kind of all over the place. You're not really understanding how to focus in or how to hone in on something because it's so blurry. It's not something that's vivid and clear for you to actually see what you're supposed to do. That's why we want to understand mindfulness, because the benefit from that, number one, is always that it's going to cultivate clarity and focus. When it comes to the second benefit of understanding mindfulness, enhancing your self-awareness is so important. I will say this is one of my favorite things, only because this is something I need to work on all the time. I have to constantly remind myself to do this and to be self-aware, not necessarily the things that I'm doing, but most of all the things that I'm thinking. That's like the number one thing for me. But being able to enhance your self-awareness helps you stay in tune with your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. Even your actions, obviously, but like I said, for me personally, my emotions and my thoughts are a main thing that I have to become more self-aware about. But when you are more self-aware, it helps you identify your values and your passions, your purpose. Those are the great things. But being able to enhance your self awareness, which is through understanding mindfulness, also helps you figure out your weaknesses. And that's very important when you're trying to live in your purpose on purpose. Why? Because you can change those things from weaknesses to strengths, and you're able to use what once was deterring you from living in your purpose to now pushing you more towards your purpose. And that's the most important thing for me is what can I do now to live more in my purpose than I am doing yesterday, that I was doing yesterday, last month, last year, the last 3 years ago. That's always the key, being better than you were yesterday. So if you want to do that, if you want to be better than who you were yesterday or the day before the last year, enhance your self-awareness. That's like one of the biggest things that you can do and the best things that you can do, because no one is living your life for you. We know that we lived a life that was given to us by God, but no one else can live your life for you. They may can give you advice, they can even help you, but no one can physically live your life for you. They can't think your thoughts for you. They can't make you feel certain emotions, or they can't make you behave a certain way. They may antagonize you to act a certain way, whether it's good or bad, but overall, they can't make you do anything. So if you are more self-aware, you're able to really tune in and grab onto how you're feeling. You can grab onto why you're doing certain things, understanding why you're doing certain things, why you're feeling certain ways, why you're thinking certain things, and you can literally transform your entire life just by those three things, just by taking a look into your thoughts, your emotions, and behaviors. Looking at those three things can literally transform your entire life because you're now more self aware. So now you know that everything you do has a purpose and a reason, and you will be more careful when you're deciding what you want to say, what you want to do, how you want to act, or even what you want to think, because you know the importance or the value it has on your life. Another one of my favorite benefits for understanding mindfulness is that it allows you to connect with your authentic self. I am a huge advocate for being authentic. I don't like the whole thing with society, how it's like everyone kind of acts the same, or they kind of always look the same, or like there's like certain people that do a certain thing and they expect you to kind of be a certain way. I literally loathe it. I don't like it. And I know, I think our 2 episodes ago, maybe, we were talking about being authentic and, authentically you and things like that. But I really believe that one of the best things that you can do for yourself is be authentic and be who you are. Now, everyone may not like that. That is completely fine because you're not meant for everybody, and everybody's not meant for you. You're not meant to really just be that person for everybody. That's okay. But understanding mindfulness, you're able to connect with that authentic person within yourself, and it give you a deep sense of self acceptance. And that is really important when it comes to living your purpose on purpose. Because if you can't accept yourself, you can't live in something for yourself. You can't even accept you. So if you can't accept you, you can't accept what's attached to you or what is yours, because you are not accepting yourself. So this is a very important thing, being your authentic self and connecting with your authentic self, because once you get that deep sense of self-acceptance, there's no turning back. You see that, hey, I accept myself, I love myself, I understand this is who I am. I'm growing to go to be this person, but I'm accepting myself right now for who I am. I'm letting go of societal expectations, and I am going to be who I am called to be. I'm going to work towards who I'm striving to be, my goal is to be, who I'm predestined to be, and that's what I'm going to do. I think a lot of times in our society, we don't really preach authenticity. A lot of times we talk about self-love, 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 and I don't think people understand that that's another whole thing. Self-love is not the same as self-acceptance or being authentically you. That's not the same thing. You can love yourself, but you cannot accept certain things that you do or who you are. And with that comes with you sometimes changing a little bit about who you are, how you do, and it could not be a drastic thing, but the minute that you alter who you are to appease like someone else or a certain place or a certain type of societal whatever, it could be online, whatever the case may be, you are no longer authentic, you are tainted. You are no longer authentic. You are not yourself anymore. That one little decision to change whatever is causing you not to be authentic anymore. And I feel like that's what's like the new normal. Everyone wants to kind of do the things that gonna get the views, do the things that's gonna get the likes, do the things that's gonna make the clout, shoot out the roof, because now they're like, oh, like, yeah, people like this, people like that. And it's just like, it's, for me, it's not my thing. It's not my thing to not be who I am, because I don't I'm only really good at being myself. That's the only person I really know how to be. But if I was to be someone else, I would never I would never be able to continue without someone else. If someone copies you or copy someone else, or kind of look to someone else for, I guess, inspiration, or, well, I don't want to say inspiration, because, inspiration is its own thing, but they look to you for basically who they want to be. You will always rely on their next move to make yours. You're never able to grow beyond where they are. So let's say one day they just say, I want to deactivate all my social media. I'm going to fall off the face of the earth. And that's somebody that you're just sitting there trying to make into yourself. You now have no type of information, no type of knowledge on how you can move forward, because you were relying on someone else. But if you're your authentic self and you're connecting with your authentic self, you're understanding mindfulness, you don't have to worry about that. Why? Because everything that you are comes from two things: self acceptance and God, who He already predestined you to be. That's it. You don't have to rely on nothing else. Now, we can go deeper and say, as you grow and things like that, that comes with, certain things that you go through and understand. Sometimes you meet certain people. I'm not talking about those things. Those are the things that are add ons, but generally, we're just relying on those two things: you accepting yourself for who you are and being authentic, and then whatever God predestined you to be and what your life is supposed to be and where you're supposed to go. That's all. And you just go off those two things, you work at it, and you try to connect with your authentic self every day, and that's one of the benefits. You're able to do that when you understand mindfulness. The last benefit when it comes to understanding mindfulness is alignment. This is another favorite. Okay, when I say there's a favorite, I realize that all my points are all my favorites. And I think that's because I chose the points and I really like them. So that's why they're the points. But this one, alignment, I feel like is super important, because it's nothing like feeling like you're on the right path. It's nothing like feeling I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is God's like, yes, girl, that's what you need to do. Yes, sir, that's exactly what you need to do. It's just a great feeling, because you feel like you're doing something for a purpose. You're living in your purpose on purpose. It's a reason. It's a great feeling, because you know that it's all not for anything. Now, I know we all have had that moment where you did something and you're like, I seriously just did all that for nothing. I didn't have to do that. And you're like, if I didn't have to do that, I wouldn't have did it. Because we all know we don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste effort and energy, especially over something that may have frustrated us or made us feel a certain type of way. And then just to feel or to understand, I didn't even have to do that. I didn't have to come here. I didn't have to bring this here. I didn't like, you just feel like all messed up. Like, I can't believe I just wasted that time. I'll never be able to get back. But that's why alignment is amazing. And if you want to have alignment in your life, or align certain things in your life, understand mindfulness. I'm telling you, if you're understanding mindfulness and understanding what that means for you and in your life, you will see alignment just spread across your life like no other, because you are understanding that everything you do, say, feel, speak, whatever, is a reason, is a certain type of way that you need to do those things to be mindful and to living your purpose on purpose. Alignment will give you inner peace, clarity, and purpose. Obviously, that's the number one thing that we're trying to do here. But that inner peace is something that can't really take away. People outside can't, because you're doing the things, you're understanding mindfulness when it comes to yourself. You have that self acceptance, that authenticity, all of that together aligns your path, and you now feel a sense of inner peace. I'm not saying that everything will be perfect. I'm not saying that you're not going to have bad days. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when those bad days do pass over, you still know that you're on the path or on the journey to being aligned with what God put on your life or what God predestined for you. There's a difference between having some bad days and then not being in alignment. He never said in the Bible or in the Word that we would never have bad days or that we wouldn't have any problems or anything. He just said, oh, if you allow me to take over your life, they won't prosper. Those things won't, that's formed against you won't prosper. It's just they're going to still form. However, they're not going to prosper. And I feel like sometimes with alignment, that's what's going to be that confirmation for you that you're going to have that inner peace. Yeah, sometimes it may not be good or it may not feel good, but I know it's going to work out for the good for us. So that's why alignment is just one of the great benefits of understanding mindfulness. It helps you make better decisions and it helps you just have better actions that align with your life, align with your purpose. You'll start doing things in the week that you're like, wow, this is what I want to do with my life. This is great. It may be on a bigger scale or it may be to a certain another extent, but generally, this is exactly what you want to do. You're like, wow, this feels good. This feels like I'm in alignment with where I'm trying to go. Every time I do a podcast episode, it may not be exactly what I want to end up doing, but I know it's going towards the direction of where I'm trying to go. And I know that it's giving me the tenacity and it's giving me the strength and it's giving me the perseverance to say, okay, yeah, this may not be exactly what you're going to be doing in the future or where you're trying to go, but it's in alignment with what you're trying to do because it's literally on that same path, it's on that same road, it's on that same journey. It's not like this is your journey, this is your path that you're on right now, and this is where you're trying to go. That's not alignment. That's not you. You're wasting time at that point. You know that this is not what I actually want to do. Why am I here? A lot of times I had that in my life. I'm like, what am I doing? Like you really just sit there and be like, what am I doing? Like, especially when things are going bad or bad, you just sitting there like, what am I doing? Like, none of this is a part of what I wanted in my life. None of this is a part of where I was trying to go. And it's not that it's a mistake, but it's just that it's going to get you back to understand that mindfulness and say, okay, I'm here because of what? What did I do? How was I feeling? What were my behaviors? What were my actions? Whatever. Okay, and this is where I'm trying to go. So how do I get into alignment where I want my life to go, the trajectory of my life here? How do I get back to living in my purpose on purpose? And the way to do that is the number one thing is understanding mindfulness. If you want all those benefits of having clarity and focus, being able to align with your life and all these different things, having that authenticity for yourself, that self-acceptance, if you want all of these things, understand mindfulness. That's one thing I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt. And you can't get on here and say, Jamie, you're wrong. No, I know for a fact that's correct. Because if you understand mindfulness, all those things will follow right behind it. Because understanding mindfulness will allow you to be in that present moment and understand that everything you do, everything that you say, and even everything that you feel have a purpose and a meaning. And you have to be more conscious of those things. Hmm. Um, So understanding mindfulness shows us a lot of different things, but today I feel like in this episode it really explained or really showed how much of a powerful tool that it was. It really gave us a way to understand how to navigate through life's challenges and to do it with much more grace than we've done it before. Understanding that mindfulness, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm a spokesperson for mindfulness. I said it so much, but I say it a lot, and I'm saying it a lot in this episode because I'm trying to explain to you guys how important it is that if you want to get through the challenges that life keep giving us, the kind of going up and down, or even if you just feel like you're constantly going down, if you're trying to change the trajectory of your life, you're trying to be more in alignment with your purpose, if you use this powerful tool, which is just understanding mindfulness, something that's literally just in here, in your mind, it can literally change the way you look at your life altogether. And not only will it change how you look at your life altogether, it changes the way you experience your life, the way you connect with people, the way you have relationships with people, with yourself, and you just feel like you have much more peace or more clarity about what you're doing in your life. You have so much more grace. You'll feel like you're doing it with much more grace than you were doing it before. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in this week. I thank you guys so much for constantly supporting me. Per usual, like I always say, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And now we have a TikTok, Living in Purpose Pod. But I really appreciate you guys this far, if you're listening via audio on your podcast, make sure you head on over to YouTube and subscribe to us, share with your friends and family, like the video, leave a comment or review, whatever you want to do. Living in Purpose on Purpose podcast. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, welcome back. I hope you go ahead and click that subscribe button wherever it is. And I hope you check out the other episodes. I appreciate you guys so much. And of course, per usual, live life on purpose.